Hello, this is Alison. I'd like to talk about how God protects people who can barely walk. For a long time I was extremely unstable on my feet, and I live in South Korea where during the winter it snows and then it freezes, so it's kind of ice for several weeks, which is a big problem. I work at a university just south of Seoul. I teach English. My worst situation was the end of 2012 going into 2013. At the end of 2012, the week before the final exams, I actually fell in the snow. And by the grace of God, I did not seriously injure myself, but it terrified me. And then I realized, I thought very hard about what I was going to do for the last week of the semester. And realized I couldn't go into the university. There's no way I could go in. Then I realized that I could get away without going in because I only had speaking tests to do. Normally I have speaking and writing tests, but on this occasion I only had speaking tests to do, and it was possible to arrange it to do them by telephone or by the students sending me MP3s, which is what I did. I was angry with God for letting me fall. But then the next week, the weather was even worse, and the ground was black ice, and teachers much younger and fitter than me were slipping all over the place. So I came to understand that the Lord had allowed me to fall on that occasion so that I could make plans, so that I wasn't out when it was really, really, really treacherous. This was just like the beginning of God helping me, because the next 6 weeks I was trapped in my house. I was living in a house at the top of a hill, and when there was snow it was just impossible for me to get out without help. A good friend was travelling 2 hours to get to me once a week so he could help me get out my house. And there was one occasion when on the Thursday I was running out of food, and my friend was supposed to come, but he was a bit late or whatever, and I really, really wanted to leave the house on my own. And the Lord said to me, no, I really felt the Lord told me I must not leave the house on my own on the Thursday. And then we got to the Saturday, and I was supposed to be leading a Bible study in Seoul. This is an incredible story. And there was no one to help me to get there. And I got up in the morning and I thought, I can cancel. It's not actually a big problem if I cancel. And I felt the Lord said, absolutely no way, I should not cancel. I should go to the Bible study. So I got myself ready, and I managed to get myself out of the house and get to the top of the hill. And then I turned round to look at the bottom of the hill. What I haven't said is that, of course, I couldn't understand why God was telling me to go on the Saturday morning when he would not let me leave the house 2 days before and the weather was just as bad. I got to the top of the hill on the Saturday morning, and at that time I couldn't turn my head when I was walking or I'd fall over. So I couldn't actually look down the hill until I got myself well positioned at the top of the hill to go straight down. I turned round to face the sheet of ice that I knew was at the bottom of the hill, that there was no avoiding, and couldn't believe what I saw. At about 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning in the middle of winter, just south of Seoul, for some unknown reason the workmen were out resurfacing the road at the bottom of the hill. In order to resurface it, they'd had to, of course, clear all the ice, and as well as clearing the ice at the bottom of the hill and laying a new road there, they'd also put a new sheet of road just coming up the hill. I don't know why, but there was just this one sort of sheet of new road coming up the hill that just covered the worst part of it. So I was able to get down the hill and then just walk on new road instead of walking across sheet ice. That was incredible. That was God showing me that he's faithful and he looks after me. And then the beginning of the next semester, Just before the next semester started, I wrenched my back. I could not move. I mean, there was absolutely no way I was going to get into the university. And I'm in a difficult position here. This isn't my country. I have a visa because I work, right? And don't work, no visa. Right? So getting into work is rather important. There was no way I was going to do it. Just before the beginning of the last semester, I had a phone call or whatever telling me that the university had made a big mistake sorting out the level tests for the new students. And as a result, they had cancelled the classes in the first week. I've been teaching at the university for 7 years. That's never happened before, it's never happened since. But they cancelled those few days that it was absolutely impossible for me to get into the university. They cancelled the classes and I didn't have to go. Incredible. Apart from that, there are millions of small incidents that I could tell you where I needed help and somebody just turned up at that moment. Or there's a million times I should have fallen over and broken every bone in my body, but I didn't for some reason. Even last year, even though I was much more stable on my feet, I got to the university one morning and I realized I'd made a big mistake taking the school bus. The school bus takes me within a few hundred yards of my building, but when I got off the bus, it was just a sheet of ice between me and the building. And there was no way I could do it. So I'm just thinking, should I get back on the bus? What am I going to do? And let me explain, we're in Korea, Korean culture. Students, professors, never mix, right? It's a very different situation than it was when I was at university in London. And also, we're in a culture where people, men and women, do not touch. Even in the situation where in Western culture, a man would touch a woman to help her, take a hand, whatever. Koreans aren't very keen on doing that. So I'm stood on this ice thinking, what do I do? And I prayed, and I said to the Lord, please Lord, I need some help. At which point I heard a voice behind me in very good English saying, do you need some help? And I turned around, and it just happened to be one of the English majors who had lived abroad. He'd lived, was it Vietnam or somewhere? He'd lived abroad. He wasn't stuck in Korean culture, and he spoke very good English. So he helped me for across that few hundred yards to the university. So it's my building. So there we are. 1,000 times I should have fallen. I should have had a big problem. What I learned through that very, very difficult time was God is faithful. You need God to help you, and He will help you. Thank you.